it out. I worked and worked and worked and worked, took it apart, put it back in, and finally figured it out. It was in the, it was all in the secondary.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it comes, it's a reflector, okay? So off the primary, up to the secondary, and into a diagonal, then into here, on both sides. And it was like if, say, Saturn's rings, and Saturn's my knuckles, and the rings are out this way, it'd be like that. Don't that drive you crazy?
Yeah.
It's gotta be like this, you know? So how does that plane getting on? Well, I went in, finally I figured out, went in and started messing with those, but I would collimate those perfectly, okay, my cat eye?
Individually.
Yeah, individually, and I thought, well, that's done. Then I'd come out here, and it kept doing the same thing. So I started working with those a little bit. I said, well, they're not gonna hurt anything, just a little bit, and it pulled it right in. And I thought, oh my gosh, all this time, and all this worrying, and all that.
Must have been
And there's been
12
times when I just set it up, I didn't have time. I was doing other things.
That's the last thing you tried, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Always is.
Well, probably.
Yeah.
Before, I was going to make a trip out to Denver, because that's where JMI, the factory's out there, and they build everything out there. That's where I went to look at it initially. And so, went out to Vail to go skiing, and then we came over, just rented a car and came over there for the day. And then that night, they demonstrated, and I bought it that night, so it was back. But,
You went back, picked it up?
No, they shipped it out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I wasn't in my pickup. Probably should have been. It's a pretty hefty cost, but nothing like being home and receiving it, you know, then putting it together. But anyhow, any questions about this?
Jack, look like you're studying it.
Well, he was interested in that saving his back and saving his neck thing, which is smart, I'll tell you. Makes a big difference. What I want to do next is spend a little time kind of reviewing. You weren't here last time, were you?
I did, I got your text message that you postponed the meeting, and I don't think I got an email as to when it was scheduled, you know, next.
Okay. All I did last time was talk about orienting object in the field of view, and we just, let's see here. I'll just go over it real quick so I can take much time. That's your eyepiece. You're looking through your eyepiece, okay? Now, your object is going to be right here. That's your object. Now, how do you find out which way is west? Do anybody remember, other than Ben?
Well, I know that generally north is up and east to the right.
Okay, now remember, your objects are going to be flipping your image around all different ways, okay?
If you just wait a few seconds,
Okay.
it will move.
Yes, exactly. So what it does,
Move
it
toward
will
the
drift.
west.
Use the drift method, right, Alan? And if you just wait. Now, you're doing this manually, okay? Now, if you've got like a go-to, you got to turn it off. Or at least take the right ascension clutch off of it. And say it drifts, for convenience, it drifts this way, and it leaves your field of view right here. Well, if it rotates to the west, that's going to be west. Okay, right? That's easy. That's easy. Okay? Now, how do we find north? Okay? What you do, you just pay attention to which way the stars are coming into the field. Okay? You're moving it to Polaris, and you pay attention to which way the stars are coming into the field. Because you're moving it north, right? Does that make sense? So, say they came in this way, the stars come in this way. That's going to be north, and you just go 90 degrees around. You know, it's divided up 360, and it's quartered around, so 90 degrees. This will be north right here. That's the easy way. Okay?
Now, when I used my friend's telescope, hers, it was a refractor, and it was let's say a 70 millimeter, but when I look at Saturn and different things, they drifted to the right.
Doesn't make any difference. Your field of view is going to be different in a SCT or a refractor, or depends on how many mirrors it's reflecting off of, okay? And it flips it every time. So, or lenses, it goes through, like in a refractor. So,
Lloyd just drew that to the left as an example.
That's
You
just
could
an
just as
example.
well have drawn it to the right. You watch to see which way they drift, and whichever way they drift, that's
Or
where.
even.
Or up, all right?
Rotate it.
yeah, it could be, and you may be standing on the other side of the telescope looking in, or on this side. And if you're writing down, or you're drawing a picture of it, you know, you'll have a circle over there, you'll be drawing a picture, you have to orient your field of view. Okay? So, but
Okay,
that's
the door.
one thing that I wanted to show you as far as observing. It's simple way to learn. And we also went over parent field of view and how to find power and all that, but I'll give you this, and I did correct it on you. A typo, I had my decimal one place off, so, and that does make a difference. Pretty big difference. Okay.
And you don't have to know exactly which way is north, you just have to have some general idea of which way is north.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be a right angle. so
It's going to be
gonna be
right
90
angle.
degrees.
It's like I said, it's going to be 90 degrees off of this. And wherever, and you'll move your telescope, you'll just nudge it toward Polaris. That's north, okay? No matter where Polaris is, if you're here with your scope, you just nudge it that way and look in there. And if it enters from here or it enters from there, it'll be one or the other because it's 90 degrees off of this line, okay? That'll be north. That's the simple thing. And when I first started observing, I didn't know that, okay? When Sparta figured it out. I was trying to do all the mental gymnastics of how the light was being flipped around and all that stuff. So anyhow, this is a simple way to do it.
I know
But on
that.
that Messier Marathon, I'm sorry, you have to note the north and on that?
Well, if you draw a picture of it, you should, yeah, you got to orient your field of view.
Cause see, I've got a bunch of them done,
You don't,
and I did them for.
before the Bezier, you don't have to draw it, right?
No, you don't have to draw
They
it.
recommend it, and Right. they like if you do, but
Yeah.
you don't have to.
But let me tell you something, I would draw everything I could.
Yeah.
You don't have to be an artist. Gosh knows I'm not. I'm not good at all. But you know, double stars, you know,
Yeah.
you see what you see in there, you orient it, and then, you know, you gotta do those. But,
Because another good reason, Grant, sorry, but just another good
Go
reason,
ahead.
Grant, is what I've seen on a site where a guy, he drew all his, he upgraded from an 80 millimeter scope to another one, and when he went back and looked at the same object, he could see, you know, gosh, that's how much improvement I've seen.
Yeah.
Or just like, you know, your buddy's got a scope,
Mhm.
I think your scope is better than mine because I see this much detail.
and drawing pictures is just another tool to put in your head. Another way to do that, so. And it's really difficult to explain. I mean, how many different descriptions can you give a small, faint galaxy?
Yeah.
I mean, small, faint galaxy, small, faint, no, you know, it needs to be more than that, so. And on that, I would suggest, if you're not real good at describing things, is to get into some of the resource material and read how they describe things. And write it down, And then, you know, if you're not real good at doing that, I've seen guys, I was up at Twin Lakes, and this guy up there, young man, he's about 40, God, that's young to me, and right out, he's a kid. Man, he was an excellent observer to start with, but he's like a poet. And I started reading this stuff, I thought, wow, this is good. and then I'd look at the object that he drew, and it was all there. But he had such a wonderful way of describing things. Some people have that ability. I don't.
You turn it on and off.
It's a little screw up there, right there, silver.
This-
Yeah, go ahead and screw it down. There you go. Yeah, that's it.
That makes sense.
Uh-huh.
Well, I keep a logbook. I know off subject, but I always keep a logbook of when we go out. And there's drawings in it and things, and the way Saturn at that time was maybe tilted and that. But again, bringing up the last one, I was reading through it where Al and I, you know, we was reminiscing some of these things that I'd forgot about. So it was neat to Oh, you know, you're fine. It was neat to have that information, so
Well, you know,
logging that stuff's really good to do.
well, if you're interested in doing the AL observing clubs, have you done any of them?
I've started on several of
Well,
them.
take your logs, fix you up a form the way you want it, with all the criteria and all the information that they need. And I've got one, I didn't bring it, I got one home. I can give it to you, or make up your own, or they've got them in there if you want to use theirs. But I just take I put 5 on a page, and I draw a circle out there for the eyepiece. And I draw everything. And just take your criteria. You've got the dates, you've got the telescope,
Yep.
okay? Obviously, you got the object, you've got the power that you used.
Yeah, because when I started doing it, I was doing one per sheet, so I've got this big folder with each one, you know.
You know what part of the
Condition.
sky? Well, you know what part of the sky you were, you know what time of year you were looking at.
Yeah.
You can take a planisphere, figure out what you was looking at, and you can figure out direction on it. Think about it.
Yeah, oh, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so you don't, there's ways you can figure out what you did, and then orient your drawing.
That's the one thing I didn't do. Of all my drawings that I know that I did, that they were my perspective at that time through the eyepiece.
Just draw a circle around it.
No, it had a circle already.
Oh, did it?
This-
You-
the
You
ones
have
I
to figure out
had,
how to word in it.
yeah, it had everything kind of laid out. You just had to go in and fill everything
He
out.
just,
Yeah, well,
he
that's
just
good.
didn't mark down where west or north was.
Yeah, yeah,
Well,
that's
you can go
something.
back and do that.
Yeah.
Do it off of a planisphere, and you can figure it out. You know your scope,
Yeah, oh, yeah, I put all that on there, the eyepiece.
and it's even in odd reflections, whether you go counterclockwise or clockwise. With this here, with the 90 degrees, I think it would be counterclockwise in a refractor because there's one reflection off of the diagonal, if you look at the diagonal. So it'd be going this way, going over here. If it's, say, a reflector, you just have one there, too, don't you? No, you got two.
You got two.
Two, you got two. Okay, so it's going to be clockwise.
Clockwise.
Right up here. So it works that way too.
Most of them are short 280.
With a diagonal or without?
With the diagonal.
Okay. So that's one reflection.
Well,
So that will get you north. Yes, okay, I'm done. Sorry, took the next time.
oh, no, I just want to make sure, see if we can get this video in.
Get that thing cranked up again.
Yeah, hopefully.
So anybody want something to drink up here? I can get it for you and pass it down.
There was like a big Simon.
Hello, Jack? You want a drink, something to drink?
No, thank
Okay.
But he was only like maybe 200-300 foot, no lights at all.
Oh, wow.
No flashing lights, nothing. Because I didn't see it for a long time.
I've actually seen several, about
Oh,
3 different aircraft
Have you seen these cameras?
with that,
For more
no jet trail, no propellers, no sound, no lights.
Well, this one had sound. It was like
Is that Mount
C-130 like.
This is,
Or
it's Astro Live.
Drone.
No, it's the software, I'm sorry.
Astro Video Systems?
Astro Video.
Yeah, it's,
I've got one of those ordered.
429, you do have one.
No, I've got one ordered. Haven't got it yet.
Oh, okay.
It's been 5 weeks.
But you liked it enough to.
What took his advice? If
Oh,
I don't
these-
like it.
Have you got one of these too, or no?
no, there's
Is
what I've
that
been looking at.
same thing?
Yeah, that's what, I'm pretty sure that's what he's ordered.
Oh, that's awesome.
Do you want?
You thinking about one, JD?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Lonnie and I had the conversation. I was over there working with him the other day, and
Lonnie?
Lonnie, what'd I say?
Lonnie?
No, yeah, Lonnie.
Yeah.
Yeah, and, but I
You
just
work
know.
with him?
Yeah, they're one of, with Irby, yeah. So we was, so we got talking about it, but anyway, of course, the stuff he's got is,
Does he come out to the TSSP or do you know?
I don't know.
He just shows up, which is fine with me. You can do anything he wants to do. We'll give him always that in place. If he wants to come. He did it last year. How you doing? What, look like you've got flat.
Everybody knows what this special day is today.
First day.
Today?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Today.
Oh, spring, yeah, it's
They-
equinox.
It varies,
Yeah.
So what determines equinox?
The sun rays are perpendicular to the equator.
That would be true, or another way to put it is that the axis of the Earth and the plane of the orbit are, the plane that is perpendicular to the orbit and contains the axis of the Earth will be perpendicular to a line to the sun. In other words, the axis is neither pointing nor toward the sun nor away from the sun.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
happened at 1857 UTC today.
Gotcha.
And I stood up and sang, "Welcome, sweet springtime," because I'm ready.
My bones are ready.
Yeah.
It's been a cold winter.
Is it universal time like 6 or 7 hours ahead of our time?
5 when we're on daylight time, 6 for standard time.
It's 5.
5 right now.
Okay. Let me shut the lights off.
Yeah.
Turn this on.
And of course, me and Chris both forgot our speakers.